Hello? Let me do my checks and I'll be with you momentarily. Got to make sure everything is working properly. Yes. We're going to have a very interesting show tonight. Very, very good podcast.
Everything is working properly.
Yes, and I'm here. And let's just check one other place and we'll be good to go. So, where I'm going to go. And I hope you had a very nice day today. Um, yes, there's so much going on. So much going on right now. Yes.
Yes, there's so much going
on. Okay. So we are good to go. I would like to welcome everyone to our podcast today. And we're going to have a very, very good podcast. This is something that's very timely, which is going on, which a lot of people do not know about. And we all should know about this because this is going to affect us very, very a lot in the very near future. My name is Len Livesey, and I'm your full spectrum Gnostic. And this is Encounters. So, what are we doing today? Today, we're going over what is the name of our podcast today? Today, we're going over Move Over Delta because we have a new virus strain which have just appeared, which most people do not know about. So that's what we're going to be going over today is the new thing that is going on. And this is very, very scary. So first, let's talk about, we always get to go back to the beginning. And we're not even going back to biblical days or anything. We're just going back maybe a year and a half where something happened in China. And this is where all this started from. And we are not going to get into, I believe this is a natural virus. Now, all natural viruses, maybe the Chinese was playing with it, maybe other people was playing with it, but the problem is, there have always been outbreaks of diseases all over the world. This is nothing new. What is new is that local outbreaks are no longer local outbreaks. Now there's a local outbreak of a disease somewhere in the world, and within a matter of weeks or a month, it's all over the world. They don't seem to stay in their area anymore because people today, the world is a lot smaller than it used to be, and people are everywhere. So coronavirus started in China. It moved around the world, as we know. We went through hell last year, super hell. And then the vaccines came out, and we thought we had everything under control. But we only made the vaccine for mom, the original coronavirus. And then the variants got started. The variants are mutations, and viruses mutate naturally. Now, the first variant that came out, we had the South African variant and we had the British variant. We had so many variants. And the first one we was worried about substantially was the British variant. Okay. And that one was bad. But the one that made the biggest impact was the one that broke out in India. That's the one we're dealing with now. It was the Indian variant, and then they changed the name to the Delta variant because we don't want to blame India. Like we shouldn't be blaming nobody. It's just where it breaks out. And Delta's been out of control, and that is what we're fighting right now. And a lot of us, 50% of Americans have already taken their shots. They've still got the holdouts. But Delta has made a big dent. We thought this thing was over when the vaccines came out. The rates went all the way down. They opened everything back up, and then Delta came along. But the variants keep coming. Now, again, you have some people believe that the variants are being man-made and all this stuff, but the variants are natural mutations of viruses. And a lot of mutations you never heard of. There was an LA variant. You never heard of that. There was a variant that came out of New York City. You never heard of that. Because what they try to do when these variants pop up, they try to, what they call nip it in the butt. They try to get rid of it. And when a variant break out in an area, like when you had the LA variant breakout, they clamped down in that area very strict and they're able to get rid of that variant. But a variant broke out somewhere we wasn't able to do that. And this variant is different from the other variant because all the other variants we ran into was a variant from the mother. This is two kids getting together and making a variant. So this is a variant of a variant. What some people are calling Delta Plus, because it is a variant not of the mother, is a variant of the Delta. Because in Colombia, things got out of control over there in South America, and you had some variants to get together, and I guess they got married. Okay. And this is why this new one, which they're trying not to talk about yet, because we're trying to focus on Delta. And we're trying to get Delta under control. Mu entered the country officially September 1st. Okay. Were there's cases before September 1st? Probably so, but that's when it officially entered the case. And quickly from September 1st to now, which is only a week and a half later, now uh, you have cases of the new variant in all in 49 of the 50 states. And this is making the job of, and they was kind of leaning on giving us a third shot in the first place because Delta was kind of hard to deal with. But then when this new variant came, and the name is still not official yet, because again, the name is out there, but they want us to concentrate on Delta. You won't be hearing this name Mu until another week or two, maybe towards the end of the month. Now they're just saying there are breakthrough cases. With Delta, most of the people that have taken the vaccine are mostly protected from catching Delta. But they keep talking about the number of breakthrough cases are increasing. A lot of these breakthrough cases are the new variant. And this is Mu. And this is why they are going to ramp up, and starting in a week or two, we're going to all start getting our third shots. We're not going to get them all at one time because just like we did last time, they're going to go in order. The older people first, and then you have to wait your turn, but they're going to start with the third shots of the vaccine. But the reason it's going to be important to get your third shot of the vaccine, and maybe it won't even work. We have to do our best. This is just throwing darts. Okay, we're going to try to make an impact to try to get Delta down. Because remember, Mu is a variant of Delta and some other variants together. But the problem that we're having with Mu, and now they're even hinting that even before we get our third vaccine, that there might be more vaccines down the road, because the problem with Mu, we're trying to keep it out of the country. If Mu enters in big numbers, it's already in 40 in 47 of the 50 states, but only in very low numbers. If Mu become to spread very rapidly, we have a humongous problem because the vaccines doesn't work good against Mu. Mu is vaccine resistant. And this could really put us back behind the eight ball. That is why they're talking about, even with the third shot, later on, there might be a fourth shot, or we might have to design something different for this, because Mu is the first of the variants which is showing resistance to the vaccines that we have. Now, the problem we have with that statement I just made, it would be different if we all had the same vaccine. In America, people have 3 vaccines. If you go around the world, there's like 7 or 8 vaccines that people are taking. All of these vaccines are doing better or worse on different things. Okay. Now, when it came to the British, the Delta variant, they was having some trouble with the vaccines in Europe with Delta, but our vaccine was doing pretty good with Delta. The problem with Mu, our vaccines, the efficiency of our vaccines dropped very low. You're down to 50%, 40%. Even that's with 2 shots. If you get 3, maybe you can get it up to 60 or 70, but they might have to redesign something specially for Mu. And Mu might be the beginning of the future of coronavirus. Instead of us fighting mom might be thinking about retiring. Now we're going to be fighting the kids. And if the kids start getting married, this could look pretty bad. And Mu is the first, as I said, Mu is not a variation of the mother virus, which we call coronavirus. Mu is a mutation of a mutation. That gets into heavy math. And this is why they might have to rush our 3rd dose. Because right now only Pfizer is ready for the 3rd dose. Moderna is not ready. It probably won't be ready until next month. Johnson & Johnson may not be ready until next month too. The problem is because of the fear of Mu spreading, they might start mixing the vaccines. There is all the tests that has been done on all the various vaccines around the world is only you taking one vaccine only. They have always told us up to now, if you take one vaccine, do not mix them. Because of the fear of Mu, they might break that sacred oath. And they might say, if Moderna doesn't hurry up and get their act together, that we're all going to take a Pfizer vaccine as our 3rd dose, even if you didn't take Pfizer for the other 2. And this puts us in what is called unknown territory, because there is no test that have been done anywhere in the world about mixing vaccines. Okay. So even if you took Johnson & Johnson, Johnson & Johnson is only running tests about if you take a second Johnson & Johnson. Moderna's doing tests on if you take a 3rd Moderna. Nobody in the world is running tests on if you took a Johnson & Johnson and then you're going to take a Pfizer or a Moderna, what that gumbo is going to do inside of you. No one knows. Okay. And do we really have time to figure this out? Because as I said, I'll say this again, because if Mu starts spreading, the efficiency, now they're saying we're down from 98% down to 90%. Okay, efficiency. Sometimes we're lower than that. With Mu, the efficiency of our vaccine go down to almost 50%. In some cases, you can get up to 60%, but you're not going to get no very high numbers. And for people that have no vaccine, Mu is very, very bad. Okay. See, this is how viruses and things spread. It always try to, when the new variant comes along, is looking for is fresh meat. Okay. So because of that, is looking for people, since like this is why it tries to get breakthrough cases, because if you can only catch it one time, eventually they're going to run out of people they can catch it. That's called herd immunity. This is what the virus doesn't want to do. This is why the virus will mutate. So, you know, maybe you can catch it more than once. And this have happened several with dozens of cases. There's been a lot of documented cases of people getting who had regular coronavirus and then they caught Delta. But officially, no one have died of that. Unofficially, I'm not saying. Officially, there's no deaths. And the people that have caught both, they very few of them have needed to be hospitalized. Okay, but the variants are seem to be getting stronger. Okay, and this could be really, really bad. Uh, you know, we don't know how bad it is. We're hoping that we can avoid mu, the new variant. But all these variants are spreading very strangely. Okay. You would think for mu, if it's in South America, it would spread to North America. Go up, it would just go up from South America to Central America and to go to North America. But mu seem to be spreading, a lot of mu cases are now picking up halfway around the world. Okay. Because viruses jump because people are traveling everywhere. So with mu, you're starting to get cases in places like Israel, and you're starting to get cases in Europe. And so far in America, we have very few cases. We're getting spared. But it is spreading. If mu gets out, that's going to make a very, very, very bad dent. It's extremely important that you do take the vaccine. And I know a lot of people don't trust it, and a lot of people this, and a lot of people that, and they're going to think you're going to turn to zombies. I have had people that's going to say that this is an alien thing, and they're going to turn you into an alien. Okay, I was very against being first in line, remember? Because you didn't want to be the guinea pig. But if you go now and get your vaccine, you're like 3 billion people have already gotten the shot. I haven't heard of any zombies out there. I haven't heard of anybody turn into space alien. I know dozens and dozens of people who got the shot. I haven't heard of no one eating brains or all this other stuff, or their eyeballs getting very big like aliens or anything. So you can believe some conspiracy stuff, but it has to be based somewhat in reality. Okay. There is no zombies running around out there. But again, it's always safe to not be the guinea pig. So when they come to, so I waited until, I waited a month or two and waited to see if there was any zombies around out there, if anybody was doing crazy things, and nothing happened. It was crickets. People was just complaining about sore arms, this and that. Some people had allergic reactions, very few. Myself, when I took the shot, it made me dizzy. Okay. So before I took the second shot, I had, the first shot made me very dizzy, like I was drinking. The second shot, to avoid that, I had a extremely large breakfast that day. I still got a little dizzy after taking the shot, but not nearly as dizzy as I was after taking the first one. I have not eaten any brains or anything like that, or I haven't been howling at the moon or anything like that. So I guess I'm okay. Now, when the third shot come out, is Len Lipsy going to take it? I'm not going to be first. Definitely not. I'm going to look out there and see what's going on. But I'm a Moderna person myself. I'm definitely not going to be in line to take the Pfizer vaccine because I'm not a Pfizer person. If I was a Pfizer person, I would be near the front of the line. I'm hoping that Moderna gets its act together very soon, and I can take my third Moderna shot. And if you're Johnson and Johnson, you need to, if possible, take your shot. If things get really bad, we may not have a choice. But then we're in unknown territory. There is no research about if you took, if you are a Moderna person like myself and I take a Pfizer shot, there is no testing on that. Or if you are a Johnson and Johnson person and you took the Pfizer shot or the Moderna shot, there is no testing on that. Okay. And we still don't know why there is so much. The shot for children was supposed to be out several months ago. They just keep saying more testing. They won't say why it's taking them so long. Is there a problem? Is this something they found? Is it something that they're not answering that? And from what I'm picking up, the shot for kids are not coming out anytime soon. So is there a problem with the kid shot? I do not know. But for some reason, there is nowhere in the world who is giving shots to kids. Why? Nobody will say. They're only saying it's safe for, you know, teenagers and adults. But no one in the world are giving shots to kids. Okay. So maybe we'll find out down the road a year or two from now why they don't want to give shots to kids, or maybe they're going to have to make a special shot for kids or give them a half of a shot or something. But there is some reason which we don't know about why they are reluctant to give the shots to kids. Okay. But the third shot is going to be coming out. We need to do that. But even with taking the third shot, will that protect us against mu or not is unclear. We do not know. Because what they're trying to do is boost your immunity back up. So if you're down to 70% or 80% right now, they're going to try to boost it back up. But with mu, you you know, when mu pushes you, you took two shots down to 50%, even taking a third shot, you might only be up to 70%. But I would rather the glass be 70% full instead of and 30% empty instead of the other way around. Okay. But we are not done. And there's more bad news. They told us that this coronavirus nightmare was going to be over in 2020. Now they're saying because of the kids, it will probably last till 2025. And some people are saying quietly that this could go on for extremely long period of time and grow into just being like influenza or a flu or something like that, where they never can eliminate it. We just have to learn to live with it. Okay. But if they can get the numbers down low enough, but for right now, we're doing the best we can. And I keep stressing this is just the tip of the iceberg because as we go deeper into unknown territories around the world, as people around the world continue to move along, like for example, we got all these people from Afghanistan coming over here and this and that. See, we don't have, you know, there is things on one side of, and this is what is affecting wildlife all over the world. When people and ships move all over the world, we now got Asian carps in the United States. We got killer hornets from Asia. We got fire ants from fire ants from South America. We got killer bees from South Africa. Things all over the world is moving around. Some of this stuff accidentally, some of this stuff on purpose. Just like the rabbit problems that they're having in Australia. Somebody thought it would be a great idea to put rabbits in Australia. And they don't have a predator. And they're just terrible. And they have a camel problem in Australia. Somebody thought it would be a great idea to put camels in Australia. And they don't have a predator either. And now you got all these camels running around everywhere, and they're shooting them from helicopters, trying to get rid of them. This is the same problem you have all over the world. This is because people don't always think about the consequences. This is the problem you have in Hawaii, where you got wild boars running around, tearing up all the pineapples. And they go around and try to kill all of them, which have been impossible. You got cats, which is a problem in New Zealand and in certain places where the birds nest on the ground. And you can't have any cats there because the cats are just killing machines. I love cats, but they're ferocious. Okay. We have to do a better job of keeping things moving around. And if we can't even do this on our little blue marble, think about once people start leaving the blue marble. We can't even handle problems from coming from halfway around the world. What are we going to do when somebody bring a Martian bug back? Okay. What immunity are we going to have against that? We really need to learn how to deal with these problems. Okay. But we're not doing very well. But at least right now we have the international community working together. But the problem is we don't have a single vaccine. Because as I said, this was caused because at the beginning when they was working on the vaccines, because of certain people, certain president I'm not going to mention, they was not able to work together. We would not work with the World Health Organization. A certain person didn't want to work with the CDC. So for the first time, we don't have a World Health Organization vaccine. We don't have a CDC vaccine. We got vaccines with companies' names on them. Okay. And normally, when we talk about smallpox or when we talk about polio or anything, we have a vaccine and it's the same one that is used around the world. You might have one or two different variations, but you don't have this spaghetti bowl we got all over the world today, where China got their own vaccine, Russia got their vaccine, Europe has two or three, we got three. It's just this spaghetti bowl of vaccines. And we need to do a better job. But this is going to last for quite some time. The new estimate is at least 2025 before we're back out of the woods. Okay. And this is killing us economically. And not only us, the entire world is being dragged down. Because the one lockdown we did last year devastated me and a lot of people was out of work. We was locked in our houses. And now Just to let you know, not to be talking crazy, but our friends from the future is talking again. They like to give us little hints. They can't really tell us what's going on because they don't want to ruin the movie. But these little people from the future try to give us some hints. Like they did, they was saying, like they gave us the hint around the first of the year, something would happen after the first of the year that would change America forever. We didn't know about those, those big protests in Washington D.C. and storming of the Capitol. They tried to warn us in their own way. They tried to give us hints about other stuff. They have a new hint now, which I'm going to tell you about. Okay. Our little friends from the future, they don't want to spoil the movie. But they're saying, and I don't know if they're talking about Mew or something else, but they're saying the new variant, a new variant is going to come. And things are going to get very bad. And they're talking about by the middle to late October, the United States and most of the world will be in another lockdown. We need to try to make that into a what is called a non-event. Because the future is liquid. We have the possibility, if we're the Titanic and there's an iceberg up ahead, and you read the book that the Titanic ran into the iceberg, you have the possibility of saying, maybe we need to change course and avoid that iceberg. Okay. Or maybe the future can't be changed. Maybe there's nothing we can do. But I think we need to try to avoid that event. I don't want to go through that again. We canceled Christmas last year. I don't want another canceled Christmas. I never was big on Christmas anyway, but I enjoyed all the lights and everything. Okay. We didn't have Black Friday last year. I wasn't a big Black Friday person anyway, but I did drive around and see the long lines in front of Best Buy and all the other places and talk about how stupid the people was for camping overnight and whatever. But I never was in those lines. I did it 1 year, but after that, I never wanted to do it again. Okay. But I think we all know that we're never going to be able to go back to the way things used to be. We're going to have to get used to something called the new normal, whatever that is. But we need to avoid another lockdown. And these people from the future are telling us another lockdown is coming in middle to late October. We need to avoid this. And how can we avoid it? Maybe we can't. Maybe if the captain of the Titanic had the book, maybe if he tried to steer around the iceberg, destiny wouldn't let him. He was still, even if he changed course, he wouldn't have hit that iceberg. He would have hit another one. Who knows? Maybe if we can avoid this lockdown of October, maybe they'll get us in November or December. Maybe they're not going to let us change the movie. Maybe the book is already published. See, there's two theories about time. Time is a river or time is a book. If time is a book, there's nothing you can do. This is what some people say. I'm not going to wear a mask. If I'm going to catch it, I'm going to catch it anywhere. A mask is not going to make any difference. And it's hard to argue that because, some people wear their mask every day and they still catch it. And some people never wear a mask and they don't catch it, just like smoking cigarettes. Not everyone who smoked cigarettes got cancer. But do you need to play that roulette wheel? I say let's not play the roulette wheel. Okay. But we need to try to avoid this. And these people from the future has another prediction. They're also talking about that the economy of this country will go will have a sharp decline at the end of the year. And that will definitely come true if we have another lockdown because most stores barely crawled out of the last lockdown and they're still heavily deep in debt. Most stores, most restaurants couldn't survive another torpedo hit or two. They would definitely go down. Okay. And the only thing that semi saved the economy last year when Trump was president is very heavy arms sales. Trump was selling weapons to everybody. And our military sales was fantastic even through that. A lot of people was out of work, but military sales, we was signing contracts with everybody. Now we have a different president. Those we're going to fulfill the contracts that are done, but we're not signing those crazy contracts like we was last year with all kind of crazy countries that's doing crazy things. We're not selling everything to Saudi Arabia and these and to Turkey and all these other weird countries that's doing all kind of weird stuff. Okay, we're going to fulfill the contracts we have, but that's it. Game's over, man. So military sales are going to start dropping, and the problem we're having all over America. What's that to do with coronavirus? It has a lot to do because they're hooked together. Because for economy to run, people have to be working. The American economy is leaning very heavily on the side. And it's not because I say so. The big proof of this is that the problem we're having with China. China put everything in containers and shipped them to the United States. Before the containers would come back, we would stuff things in those containers and they would go back over there. Ever since coronavirus hits, the containers never go back to the point where China started to run out of containers. And it's so bad now that now China is now sending containers full of everything to America. And now they're taking ships with full of empty containers and shipping them back to China because they don't have any more. That is doubling the shipping cost of everything. Because now that container got to go full one way and empty going back the other direction. And how come it's going empty back the other direction? Because a lot of factories are not working at 100%. And now they have ended all of the support. They have ended, we're not getting no more stimulus checks. We're not getting no more rent relief. We're not getting no more mortgage relief. We're not getting nothing. This is up. The game is over. Every government program is ending. Or will end in the next few weeks. And if Mu hits in October, we're going to be in very bad straits because a lot of people don't have any financial backing. Some people are very, very far back on their rent and mortgage payment, and they're now trying to catch their payment up. If you're a renter, a lot of them are not going to be able to catch up. They're going to have to just move out and try to get another place. But we can't take another hit. We cannot take another lockdown. If we get hit by another lockdown, we will go into a major recession in this country. And those two don't go together very well. A major recession and virus at the same time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Another sign of how bad things are getting It's not that I like to be the prophet of bad news, but I believe you need to know what is going on. Okay. Last year, the sign that things got was getting really bad is they was starting to pay nurses. They was doing contracts for nurses. That if you would sign as an RN, as a these trauma nurses, and if you was willing to go to New York or all these cities where cases was super bad, they would give you $100,000 to sign. Some people, that's a lot of money. A lot of people went for the money. A lot of them regretted taking the money. Some of them walked away from the money because it was just too hard. If you're in a place where people dying like crazy and you're working 12, 15-hour shifts and you're working 60, 70 hour a week, but they gave you $100,000 and a signing bonus to let you know how bad things are with Delta right now. Even before we get hit by Mu, they're now coming out with new nursing contracts. Not for 100,000 this time. If you're willing to sign this time, they're going to pay you $200,000, $300,000 to sign. But not to go to a particular city. You're signing to go wherever they need you. And people believe this is all made up. How can you pay people that kind of money? And where are we getting all this money from? How can we pay nurses that normally made 75, 80,000? We're going to pay them instead of them making 70,000, we was going to pay them 100, and now they're making 70, and now we're going to pay them 200,000, $300,000. Where's all this money coming from? We're just printing money. We're not doing anything to produce the money. And if people think things are not bad, I don't think they would be paying these ridiculous salaries if they didn't have to. But from what I heard, a lot of people are reluctant to sign their name on the dotted line because they heard about the horror stories of the people that signed last time, and not all of them survived. You understand? So you got to think, if that was you, and if somebody was willing to offer you 200,000, 300,000 to work 70 hours a week and the no 9 yards, would you do it? Another sign that things are going really starting to get bad. I went on a little trip for Labor Day. I stopped at this big giant truck stop. Back in the good old days, you stopped at the truck stop. You saw all these old cowboy guys and this and that with their beer bellies and all this and everything. And you know, there was those trucks was everywhere. All those truckers was in there. They all had their backpacks and everything. They was like fleas on a dirty dog. But I didn't see no old men. I didn't see nobody with big tummies. I didn't see no mustaches. All these truck drivers now are in their, they look like they was all in their 20s. One or two in their 30s. But they're all young kids. It looked like a college football game or something. I don't know what's good. I don't know. But now as a trucker, if you're willing to drive, and a lot of those young truckers, they was two of them in a truck. So I guess since they don't have that much experience, they're putting two of them in a truck and they're just driving forever. And you can make, gosh, Again, $100,000 driving a truck. The truck is in motion 20 hours a day, but I guess you got all that money in your pocket. But if the truck doesn't stop, how are you going to be able to spend it? The same thing with paying these nurses. If you're making $300,000 a year, I mean, you're signing for $300,000, but you're working 70 hours, 80 hours a week. How are you going to spend that money? I believe, to me, if you want to see how things are going, you got to read the signs. A lot of the older people are getting out. A lot of the older nurses are retiring. A lot of the older truck drivers are stepping down. All over the country, there's a shortage of school bus drivers everywhere across the country. A lot of the old school bus drivers, they're all giving it up. They're afraid to be on a bus with 30, 40 kids. Okay. Things are, we are not prepared, but we have to do our part. So if things do get bad, you have to do what you have to start preparing. I'm not telling you to go up, take your pickup truck and get a carload of a truck full of toilet paper. Toilet paper is not going to save your life. But you do need to have what you need to do if we're going to get maybe locked back inside next month. Okay. You do need to keep stock of what's going on in your neighborhood and your surroundings. Okay. And I talk to a lot of people. I'm self employed. I talk to a lot of people. And some people tell me, oh, in my family, nobody got it. Or in my family, my cousin got it. But in some people's family, they tell me, oh, my brother died and my grandmother died and my uncle died. And oh my gosh, they just go down the list. And that is very strange to me how some families got devastated and other families haven't lost anybody. And this is why, again, I believe this is a natural disease. Because if this was man made, a lot of these people that have died, which they haven't told you, yeah, this have hit blacks hard, this have hit, Hispanics and other groups hard. But Anglos have been hit very, very hard by this corona outbreak. Okay. Extremely hard. And if they was doing something behind closed doors, I think they would get rid of a lot of the darkies. You understand what I'm saying, don't you? Okay. But this have really made a dent across the country. And as I warned you last year, this is our third or fourth podcast about coronavirus we have had. I warned you before that sometimes, a lot of time, with tsunamis or with flus, the first wave is not the worst. When they had the Spanish flu, the first wave was not the worst. It was the second wave was a lot worse than the first wave. Maybe this is going to repeat. We thought the first wave hit and the first wave was over and we made it. And we took our mask off and we was out there and attending concerts again and this and that. And this is what they did with the Spanish flu. After the Spanish flu was over, cities all over the country had giant parades to celebrate that the Spanish flu was over. And in a lot of those cities that had those big festivals and parades, they didn't do very well. Okay. I guess the Spanish flu wasn't excited that they were celebrating its demise. So it got even. Okay. We already celebrated that coronavirus was gone. Okay. I even know restaurants and stores that have taken all their plexiglass down already. They put all their tables back in the restaurants and everything. Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you got to have your antennas out there. You got to be looking. You got to be watching. You got to turn on the news every now and then. And more than talking to the news, you just want to talk to people about what's going on in your community. And people will tell you, oh, this person is sick and that person is sick and this person just died. And you need to track that. And when those numbers start getting up there, okay. But right now, especially in Texas, things are not good. Okay. Houston, not doing good. Dallas, not doing good. Okay. A lot of the hospitals, not only in Texas, but around the country, especially in the southern states, very, very bad. Okay. And while we're trying to prepare for Delta, then we got the weather going crazy and all kind of stuff. You know, the Bible says when it rains, it pours. And I was talking to somebody the other day. They were saying, Lynn, you're all excited about all this stuff, but you don't know that this is the end times. This all have to do with the great tribulation and this. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But our plate is super full right now. We got forest fires, we got flooding, we got hurricanes, we got coronavirus out there, we got crime out of control, we got everything going on all at one time. We're having a party. Is it the Great Tribulation? Is it just that we're just having a bad time? Is it just, I don't know. Whatever it is, we just need to survive what is going on and look back years from now and say, boy, was that a roller coaster ride. Oh my gosh. Let me see what comments we have. I haven't been looking at the comments. But this is all kind of stuff. See, they're already saying in Canada they're already mixing the vaccines or not. Okay. See, uh, this is unknown territory. I'm going to try to stick with not mixing the vaccine if I can. I'm a Moderna man. I'm going to try to stick with Moderna. But if things get bad enough, I'm going to be looking out there and, and if I have to take a Pfizer, I'm not going to be first in line, but I got to do what I got to do to survive. Okay. Remember, the name of the game is survival, right? You got to do what you got to do, right? And I'm not going to let happen last year. Last year, I didn't have any toilet paper. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. Everything. I got a lot of rolls of toilet paper. I don't have a truckload, but I got toilet paper. I got this. I bought my last time I couldn't, all my the grocery stores was empty. Everything's empty. I'm ready. My cabinets are all full. I'm hoping and praying that they just stay full and, you know, but I don't want to happen what happened last year. Last year, my cabinets was not full, and when I went to the store, there was nothing on the shelves. Okay. So we all need to think about this. And if you're going to buy some things, don't go out there and buy 300 pounds of meat. You know they're having electrical problems all over the country too. Okay. We need to think about everything is just falling apart these days. I got me some cans. I got this. I got that. You know, you got to do what you got to do. So, uh, we are going to survive this. I'm not saying this is the end of the world. I do not believe so. I do not. I'm not saying Jesus is coming next week or next month or whatever. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying we're going through hell. Okay. And hopefully we can get out of this very soon. I was hoping 2022 was going to be the end of this headache. Now they're saying it's going to be headache till 2025. Oh my gosh. I might have to buy a lot of a lot of a lot of extra pain pills. Okay. Cuz I feel a headache coming on right now. You get what I'm saying? But I'm planning on being here. Need to be planning on being here. And if you have to take a shot, I know you hate shots like I do. And if you got to wear that damn mask, I hate that mask just like you do. But you got to do what you got to do to survive. The name of the game is survival. And if you don't want to do it for you, you need to do it for your kids and your grandkids and your wife and your children. Because in some of these houses, they have taken a big sloth where one person caught it and then they just devastate the family. Okay. You don't want to be that person. Okay. So do what you got to do to keep yourself safe. Do what you got to do to keep your family safe. And do what you got to do to survive. And in the end, before I got 5 more minutes, I'm going to not use all of it, but I'm going to use a minute of it. We know we're having problems all over this country, right? Having problem with the gas is going crazy. You don't want to be running around with your gas tank near empty. You want to keep it close to that F. You also need to have some money in your house because, like in New Orleans, the lights are out. You can't buy gas. You can't go to the ATM. You can't use your credit card or your debit card because there's no electricity. Some people walk around with a credit card and debit card. They never have any cash. I'm not saying take all the money out the bank and put it in your mattress under your mattress, but you need to have some money in your house. What you gonna do if the electricity out and you got $50,000 in the bank and $10 in your pocket? What you gonna do? You need to seriously think about this. And as I said before, you also need to put all of your important papers in a single binder or a single thing that in case you need to evacuate, just like in New York City or whatever, or what happened in New Orleans or who's going to be next, we don't know. You may not be able to save everything, but you can grab that notebook. And if you put your notebook in the closet on the top shelf, even if the house get flooded or there's a hurricane, if it's in a closet, there's a good chance it'll probably survive. But if you got your important papers all spread all over the house, you're never going to find them. You must do what you need to do to survive. And I'm here, and we need assistance. And maybe we need to pray a little bit too. Maybe they'll help us out a little bit. My name is Lynn David Livesey. I'm your full spectrum Gnostic. I didn't mean to scare anybody, but we must do what we got to do to survive. And we have a new dark cloud, which is now heading our way, called Mu, and we need to prepare. Okay. I'm planning on being here and doing a lot more podcasts in the future. That means I'm not planning on falling over anytime soon. And I want you to be listening to my podcast. So that means I don't want you to be falling over anytime soon. I wish everyone good health, happiness, and and we need to survive whatever it is. We are strong and we can make it through. I'm Len David Livesey, your full spectrum Gnostic. I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Bye.